Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Jim Szafranski, CEO of Prezi, to discuss providing the most immersive way to connect to any audience, virtually or in person. Jim, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill.
Prezi created the modern infinite canvas more than a decade ago. Tell us about how it's different from slide-driven presentation software.
Yeah, Prezi is a presentation software company, and we're built, as you said, on a 3D infinite canvas format. And what it does is it better immerses the user and the audience into the presenter's content. And it uses cinematic movement and sort of spatial context, meaning things next to each other. And the reason that improves engagement and retention is because it works the way our brains work. Our brains remember and retain and recall things visually and through relationships and stories.
How will AI impact the presentation industry and Prezi in particular?
Yeah, we believe that for Prezi, we're very well positioned to have a kind of AI-driven hypergrowth moment because of the unique assets that we've built up. We've mentioned that differentiated format. I do believe AI will create a sea of lookalike offerings possibly, and Prezi will have the opportunity to really stand out in there. But even more interesting for us is Prezi has the world's largest library of 500 million presentations that are publicly available. And we also know which ones work well and for who. And so we use that to model our recommendations to help our users make increasingly effective presentations.
What should businesses be thinking about regarding presentations today?
I think the first thing should be that presentations can really help bring employee engagement and focus on the job at hand. Right, businesses are overwhelmed in many ways with information and employees with lots of information and attention spans under attack. So I think the first thing is think of presentations as a way to help bring focus. And the more immersive the content can be, and the more fitting the content can be for the different ways the business works, remote, in person, then you're going to have a better chance of focusing and hitting your goals.
You launched Prezi Video, an on-screen presentation tool, before the pandemic. How did you see around that corner so early?
Yeah, Prezi has what we call high achiever customers. Our customers tend to be on the forefront of communications and communication tools. And so they took us around that corner saying, hey, we're spending more time doing virtual on-screen presentations in 2019. So we built Prezi Video, which is the ability to have you and your content on screen at the same time. And so they brought us around that corner. And today we have about 200,000 organizations using Prezi Video alongside of video conferencing tools.
Jim, what are your thoughts about return to office work versus hybrid? What will the role of video meetings be?
Yeah, my thought is that regardless of the model you're in, you're probably going to have a virtual experience every week. And what I mean by that, like maybe I'm in a biology lab where we're all in person, or I'm in a technology company that's fully virtual. The reality is some time during that week, I'm gonna have a virtual meeting, either with employees or with customers, with partners. So I think it's key to sort of accept and plan for the fact that virtual and video meeting platforms are basically a core part of the going forward digital workplace kind of suite that we have to provide all of our employees.
And you helped lead the BYOD movement, bring your own device, bringing mobile devices into the IT stack more than a decade ago. What did you learn from that relates to hybrid work?
Yeah, what I saw when the iPhone showed up is businesses wanted to ban them, right? And I think that the key thing is the companies had the question wrong. They were thinking about the wrong way. Employees weren't trying to bring their phone to work to steal data. That was the concern. Employees were trying to use their phone at work so that they could work at different locations at different times. And so I think the hybrid work problem's probably a little bit harder, but it's got a lot of the same sort of fingerprints, right? It's an employee-driven movement. It's about productivity. It will change how we work. But what we saw work in BYOD, which probably should work well for hybrid, is look for the pockets of what's working and winning and sort of scale and build your policies and your plan from what's working, as opposed to more of a defensive mechanism of kind of what you want to block.
How are you different from Canva?
Yeah, so Prezi is as we talked about at the very beginning, we're kind of a differentiated infinite canvas format, whereas Canva and other tools are more slide-based. And so again, where we focus is how to make sure that the audience, the meeting retains and can recall the information. And we do that with our format that essentially is very cinematic. and very powerful for standing out and holding people's attention.
Prezi was named Zoom's top software vendor integration partner of the year. To what do you attribute your success on Zoom?
That one was kind of easy, which was it was better video meetings during the pandemic and subsequently, again, because the audience actually engages and participates as opposed to multitasking. And we've been able to see that through analytics. And so, and that comes back again to the differentiation that Prezi has. And we're proud of that award. But more interestingly, I'd say is if you check out the Zoom app marketplace and you see Zoom and Prezi together, you'll get a sense of what we're talking about. It's a one-of-a-kind, engaging, almost TV-like experience.
And finally, Jim, is Prezi going public or looking like an acquisition candidate?
Our focus for the future, what I can share is essentially to ride this kind of high achiever viral loop that we have. Our users bring us into new users and add to that the capabilities of generative AI so that we can expand. We have 140 million users today. We can expand to the broader presentation market because that the broader market will need and want immersive content like we deliver. And we think we can make it easier for them to have.
All right, Jim, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.